Sorry, getting talk right now. You go get a beer, shower beer.
A shower beer?
Yeah, never had a shower beer before.
Never had a shower beer.
Yeah, nice and refreshing. Put it up there with the soap.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 19 of 2025. Happy Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. I'm Chris Louie and wishing a very happy birthday to my wife. With me, I have my co-host, Duke Silver, who always remembers to text me happy birthday on my birthday.
The way you say my wife makes me think you have the same level of respect that he has for your wife. So good job, buddy. Way to. But yeah, on that note, happy birthday. I forgot to text you this morning.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. My friend.
It's not actually my birthday.
We know. You would never tell us when your actual birthday is. That's poor OPSEC.
I know. Gotta have that PII. Keep it private. And we do not have Glenn Medina because he mysteriously didn't show up for the podcast today. We sure hope he is okay, but he might join midway. Who knows? Our guest this week is Raja Khalid. Raja's been here with us at Zscaler for 4.5 years now, and now serves as one of our data protection specialists. Unfortunately, the amount of memes he's posted in our company collaboration tool severely dropped after we went to the two-phone system. Raja, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks so much for inviting me. Excited to be here.
Can you please say another one?
Another one.
We the best.
we are not related, but sure. We the best.
I would totally make. Yeah, I would. You'd be. What's your middle initial? Without if it's not. You just say RJ Khalid. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many places. Yeah. Why not? No one needs to know the truth.
Why not?
Yeah.
I just got to get the big chain, to go with it, and I'll be good to go. He's got this.
Technically,
big
no.
chain.
Yeah, the big chain. You get the big beard, but you need to gain about 450 pounds. Then you'll be on par, ready for that. I don't take an L. I don't even lose weight. Right? That's good to have you on, man. It's about time.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on. Excited to do this.
Well, combined, we still have decades of information security experience here, not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for this week, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This week, we're going to talk about Pell runners, Microsoft going passwordless, for our third topic, scattered spider, and close with AI job replacement talk. Now, before we get started on our first topic, I think Brian is in our 51st state, and before the show started, he told us he submitted a moose, so we got to get that story. And what are you doing up there in the Great North, Brian?
So I was invited to, so number one, I'm not calling it the 51st state right now because I think I will catch way too much hate up here. People look at me sideways when they find out I'm from America. But in large, they're nice to my face, at least with that. Now, I was invited to Banff, which I believe is in Alberta. I could be wrong. To do a little speaking engagement. So I flew into Calgary, drove an hour and a half into literally God's country. It's beautiful right here. And then I had a speaking engagement this morning, and then I got another one tomorrow. Then I'll be headed back on Friday and do some dinners and whatnot. But yeah, they submitted a moose. I told you it was a rear-necked choke. The reality is there was one in the road, and I drove under it, and the top of the windshield slapped the nuts of that moose, and he fell and he cried. Things are huge. I thought it was in a freeway overpass. Nope, just a moose.
So no rear and no choke, just nakedness.
Just nakedness.
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently no. I actually haven't seen. I saw some deer this morning though.
Deesh, how big was this thing?
Oh, I didn't actually drive underneath one. I've seen moose before, but I've not seen one on this trip. But they are pretty massive. Like they would. I'm in a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I think it would probably total the vehicle and then walk away like nothing happened. They're massive, man.
Yeah. You're for sure going to have a bad day if you hit a moose, even in a Jeep. All right, for our first topic, we knew it was happening, but now we know to a certain extent how AI is fueling the cybercrime underground to steal millions of dollars. In a recent report, the California public school system estimates that up to 25% of community college applicants are just AI bots looking to steal money from the Pell Grant system. The bot's goal is to bilk state and federal financial aid money by enrolling in classes and then remaining enrolled in them long enough for aid disbursements to go out. They often accomplish this by submitting AI-generated work, and because community colleges accept all applicants, they've been almost exclusively impacted by this fraud. The term for them is called Pell Runners. After enrolling in a community college, they apply for those federal Pell Grants and collect as much as $7,400 and then vanish. Since the fall of 2021, California's community colleges have given more than $6.5 million to these Pell Runners.
I was wondering how you got that new vehicle, Chris.
Why
$7,400 at a time.
Why you got to go against the community colleges, though? You know, those are like the bedrock of the United States. Like, go after Stanford, go after the big boys. You know, that's where the money's at.
Some with a huge endowment, yeah.
Yeah, somebody with a huge endowment that could get you some extra cash. It's a brilliant strategy, though.
I thought a huge endowment has something else to do with like the male. Never mind.
Anatomy. Brian's brain always going there.
That's not the same thing? Okay. But no, you're right. Community colleges. I remember when community colleges were actually cheap. I don't know if they still are, but
they're free in California.
For real?
Oh, yeah? That's awesome.
First 2 years? And then
it used to be... Yeah, when I took classes there in high school, I think it was $13 a unit. So 4-unit class was, I mean, still pretty cheap, $52. But I think it's free now in
Good job with
California
the math.
for community.
Never
college.
thought you would have been good at math, man.
I know, you wouldn't think so, right?
No indicators at all. 13 times 4 is 52. Who knew?
Just
Double
again, Brian.
So I mean, the tuition is free, but I guess these Pell Grants are for other things. Yeah, I don't know a ton about Pell Grants, but I think it's for like housing and for books because the class might be cheap, but you still have to buy like $100 textbook for the class and other living expenses. So these Pell Grants are supposed to help people be able to survive and be able to go to college.
As for someone that had 3 kids going through college, we didn't qualify for 1 Pell Grant. So I'm glad that AI figured it out and I couldn't. That says a lot. It was one of those things. You need to go ahead.
Submit this paper. I mean, and it's one of those things you want it to be a dead giveaway. Like you can't write a PhD level thesis and have AI do that and submit it. It has to be. You have to have the prompt say, I barely passed 12th grade and rate it, add a few grammatical errors in there and make it seem legitimate.
I feel like AI is getting better at certain things, but just worse at others. The verbosity is not there. It's never on. Like some of the analogies it comes up with are just, they don't make any sense at all. Like I don't know what's going on. I miss the old ChatGPT 3.0 days where you didn't have to coach it and train it to be unhinged. But one day we'll get there again.
It makes you a great son and a great husband though, because anytime you can go to ChatGPT and like, hey, write me an amazing letter for my mom for Mother's Day, or, write me an apology letter to my wife. I mean, that thing spits out such beautiful poetry. I love it every time.
Raj got that bookmark. Yep. Another apology letter and make it sound not like the last 10 that you wrote me.
So I may have done something like that recently with my daughter, and then she didn't respond. I was like, you didn't respond to my text. She goes, because I took a screenshot. I gave it to ChatGPT and it said that it wrote it. I was like, God damn it. Like, I'm not gonna communicate with a chat with a bot, Dad.
She figured out the trace buster thing.
I know. It's wild.
You got caught. Now you got to use Grok. So if she uses ChatGPT, then you plug your prompt into Grok.
One thing I've noticed is that I can, if I preface the conversation at the beginning, the conversation with I have 5 sentences. I'm like, remember, it's me, not you. I talk like this, not like this. Then I can get something semi-usable if I'm looking to put something together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely got to guide it. Make sure it understands kind of all the parameters.
Yeah. Swimsuits or the bikinis, they cover a lot. I'm like, what? No, I don't understand that at all. Like,
It's like, well, there's an old saying on the internet that says, make your post like a good skirt, long enough to cover the material, but short enough to keep it interesting. But back on the topic here, I think with the advent of AI, I think the identity piece is more important than ever because of all these AI chatbots and being able to impersonate people and being able to spin up identities and steal other people's identities. That I was thinking of, Sam Altman has this startup, I think it's called WorldCoin, and it's a cryptocurrency that does, I think it does iris scans. And we'll probably get into more of this in the next topic about passkeys and things. But I think that is important, that your identity, just because you have someone's social security number, and we talked about it last podcast, like that doesn't mean anything. Everyone's social security number is already exposed out there. That doesn't prove you are who you say you are. It has to be something non-reputable, like an iris scan.
here's the next pump and dump. How about World Star coin? I think that would be...
All you do is you upload a video, make sure you say World Star, and then you get this crypto token.
Yeah. I think that'd go...
By the way, that's my everyday, is customers like, hey, I want to build a dictionary to look for a single social security number. I'm like, well, that's going to be efficient.
Impossible. Yeah.
Or, hey, I'm looking for a single credit card. Okay, so you want to trigger every time somebody buys lunch? Like, what are we doing here? So, yeah,
I remember
a lot of education.
The first time messing with DLP and doing like a dictionary looking for my social security number, right? I'm like, I think I was doing like DLPtest.com. I'm like, this works great. And then I turned it on everywhere and it was like 10,000 alerts in like a week. I'm like, what the hell's going on? JSON is a mofo. That is for sure. Those GUIDs are everywhere.
Yeah. Google Drive's notorious for that one.
Mm-hmm. I almost feel like Google Drive went on the dark web, got all of our PII, and then they're like, create a GUID based off of people's PII. And then that's just what they use.
So it's just always firing on all these DLP engines.
Yeah.
By the way, that reminds me, there was actually a customer that had he was like, my customer or my user is not posting sensitive data. I don't understand what's going on. And we tested it out and he's like, look, he has Bing open. On Bing, he's searching for something else. On another browser tab, he does have some sensitive data, but he's not posting anything. Why are you guys triggering? And I'm like, well, Bing is actually scraping the data from the other tab, and we're seeing that as a post. And he was like, oh, yeah. His expression was definitely memorable.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So
Bing is cross-site scripting?
Yeah.
Or no, that's CSRF, right?
Cross tab.
That's not cross-site scripting, but yeah, it's scraping data from other tabs. And so, keep that in mind, that could very easily be a way for your data to get out as well. So
browser sandbox is not as strong as you would hope.
Hear me out, guys. A different browser for every app or every browser tab you have.
Chrome was supposed to have done that. Like if you open up Task Manager in Chrome, like each tab is supposed to have its own process. Supposedly. Process. Where's Victor? He'll say process is correct.
Victor didn't even vote. I don't want to hear his nonsense.
Yeah, well, this sort of ties into our second topic here, where Microsoft announced that they will be making all new accounts passwordless by default to protect against the most common attacks, such as phishing, credential stuffing, and password brute forcing. Microsoft recommends passkeys as their recommended authentication method, which is phishing resistant and uses biometrics instead of a static password. So could this finally be the year that passwords die?
They're going to have to die.
Man, I can't wait for my grandmother to call me and try to figure
out how to use the passkey.
Yeah. Biometric? You mean like the movies? Yes, Grandma. This is what you got to do. Yeah, it's going to be interesting for a whole generation of people.
As much as I'm not a YubiKey fan, I get it. That seems like that's got to be the direction we go. Oh, is that post-quantum safe as well? Probably not, is it?
PQC? I think the way the YubiKey works is it's different. I think it's still challenge response, but it's phishing, extremely phishing resistant. You have to have, it's something you have, and then you have to have proof of presence as well, because you have to tap the key to activate it.
Speaking of phishing responses, very phlegmy today, so you're gonna have a lot of good luck editing this whole segment. I'm so sorry, man.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know Zoom is clipping a lot of it, but I'm like, I keep clearing my throat and I can't mute it. I'm like, damn it, the hell. And no, this won't be the year that passwords die. Let's be real. Passwords are going to be here for the next 20 years. Probably not 20 years, but they'll be around for a while.
Yeah, what's going to happen?
I think there's something to be said about the tyranny of the default, where they say if you default somebody into something, they're much more likely to adopt it. I think that's finally what Microsoft is doing, because they'll allow for password fallback and reset your password or reset your account by sending an email. So there are some fallbacks to it, but by default, they're going to make you enroll a passkey when you create a new account.
No, PayPal keeps trying to get me to do the passkey. I don't even use it enough to even care. I mean, I did it
like every
right
site.
away. Yeah,
Amazon, Target, basically every site, Best Buy. When you log in, it says, "Do you want to set up your passkey?"
Target. No one goes to Target, do we?
Well, I have a MacBook as my primary personal computer, and it has a fingerprint reader on it. So every time it tries to enroll me, it says, "Scan your fingerprint." I'm like, no, I'm not quite ready to make that jump yet. But you, Raj, are you a big passkey fan?
I like the E-Trade thing. You know how when we sign into E-Trade and it has type in your password, but then you also have to, at the end of it, type in the passcode from
the OTP. Yeah.
OTP from Symantec. I like that idea because it does require me to have, my phone. It requires me to have additional things that would verify that it's me. And I don't think that that's really easily, replicatable. There's a few others that do that, like AWS. So when you sign into AWS now, it requires you to have the Google Authenticator or an authenticator of that. So I like the OTP way. I mean, those YubiKeys and those once you start getting into physical devices, or any type of, it's got to be connected to the computer, because if it's not, if you're trying to send out things, people are going to lose them quite often. And so it's got to be those biometric readers on your desktop or on your device. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
And you have to have some kind of convenient fallback too, because inevitably somebody important, they're gonna have the laptop and say, "Oh, the fingerprint reader's broken," or
exactly.
I scraped my finger and I can't scan it. You're gonna have something like that, and you have to have some kind of easy fallback mechanism, which is always the weakest link too. The fallback is always the weakest link. The password reset mechanism to your email is going to be a weak link there.
And my iPad, my fingerprint never works. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I use an index finger and I'm trying my thumb. I've tried every finger and it just does it. So
you can always add another fingerprint, buddy.
I could always add another one, but those are, like I said, there's going to be a lot of support people, very, very busy. So if you don't have a job,
try to replace that with AI.
Help desk.
I will say that the whole so when you talk about the Symantec VIP, Google Authenticator, Oddly, and stuff like that, that's the number one and Okta. That's the number one reason why I have an old iPhone now. It's because I refuse to get a new one. I have to remember to move all that stuff over, and it's just a giant pain in the ass. So as long as my iPhone is under support, I am not upgrading until either literally the next greatest thing, or it's no longer under support. I'll buy a new iPhone and then migrate all of the authenticators over. Apple made it, or not Apple. Google made it a little bit easier, but still, it's I forget. It's just I got them all over. Destroy the phone. I'm like, oh crap! I used Authly for another thing. Now I'm screwed.
Well, the iPhone Fold is supposedly coming out, Brian. Are you going to get the foldable iPhone? Is that
doubt it.
enough
No.
for you to upgrade? No,
No.
Apple Intelligence wasn't enough to get you to upgrade.
I think you used it for like 3 minutes yourself, and that was about it. So
That's true. I used Image Playground. I made a couple of funny images, and then it's like, no, I'm done. Like, this isn't going to be an upgrade super cycle for me, unless Apple will plug into like Grok, like Apple Intelligence in general. We've talked about it before. Awful. It's supposed to be Siri on steroids. It's awful. It's like Siri on ketamine or something. It's just worse. Somehow they found a way to make Siri worse. And then like just plug into Grok, plug into GPT, plug into Anthropic. Like, we fixed this problem, Apple. You don't need to reinvent the wheel.
By the way, did you guys go with the 2-phone thing, or did you go with the Android? Oh yeah,
I got the two.
Yeah, I got them both right here. Yeah.
yeah, I got a trap phone. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that one was fun. Explained to the wife, no, baby, the company's making me carry two.
Yup, that was the first person I had to explain why I had 2 phones. And then that Kevin Gates song of like, I got 2 phones. It just kept ringing in my ear for like months when I first got it.
No, to her credit, my wife is pretty understanding about IT security. She's like, yeah, I get it. But I'm like, yeah,
I actually kind of like Kevin Gates. He's good, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good songs.
I think having the biometric, because when I say biometric, there's the fingerprint reader on your computer, but then for most iPhones and a lot of Samsung or Android phones, they have a facial ID, Face ID. So you can do Face ID now. So it says, if I'm on my computer, it says log in to Amazon. It says go to your iPhone and scan your face. Like that's all it takes. And most people have a smartphone that have a fingerprint reader or a Face ID reader. It's just, can it go wrong? Or what are the corner cases? Like, I'm on an airplane, my iPhone doesn't have service. Like, how do I log in?
Yeah. Or you got kids that want to download apps and, they know that they just got to pass by dad and then flash the phone in front of your face and think it's funny because, or that you won't catch it. Yeah.
We had Brian and I have a mutual friend where his kids tried to do that. When the Face ID first came out, they printed a picture of the dad and held it in front and tried to do it that way. Or they held it in front of him when he was sleeping, but he turned on I think in Apple, there's like a feature where it says Face ID won't work unless your eyes are open and looking at it. They tried some clever workarounds on that one. Didn't work, but got to give him credit for that hacker mentality.
I think his kids hated me because I sent him, before we even started here at Zscaler, I sent him a Circle by Disney, which I think is like a semantic product, but and it was phenomenal, man. Locking down the kids, making them do things. It was great.
Yeah, that was like content filtering 1.0, but
yeah,
it was good
all
enough.
DNS based, yeah.
Yeah, good enough. Well, we'll see. Every year is the year the passwords die. We'll see. I think Microsoft's probably the first one to make that major change. Maybe Apple will be next, or Google will be next. Actually, I think Google just moved to multi-factor by default. So they're slowly moving in that direction. They're not making passkeys by default, but they are making mandatory MFA now for new Google accounts.
Yeah, you definitely need that.
Did anyone actually think that Microsoft would make it this far? Like, I kind of felt like they're too big to fail, but like the whole licensing, how they did stuff, and then there was this pivot to the cloud. I was like, oh no, man, I got to start selling differently, but they figured it out. Kudos to them. Azure's a beast.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Office 365, that whole thing. It was one of those things. There were very few companies that could force people. I think Adobe is another one. When Adobe changed from on-prem software to Creative Cloud, they bullied people into that one. And I think it has some more to do with their monopoly or oligopoly, that there's no alternative. If you're on Exchange and they raise the price for support 25% every year, like, you eventually have to move off or just pay exorbitant fees like the US government probably does.
Well, that, and then, Oracle would probably be another good one, right? Oracle owns SAP?
Yeah. No, Oracle and SAP are competitors.
What is their...
SAP is the same thing. Like, they're moving people from on-prem to SAP Cloud.
HANA,
and that's
right?
the same thing. They said, if you want on-prem, we're going to raise your support fees, 25% every year until you get off.
Is Oracle PeopleSoft? What is their ER?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Oracle's PeopleSoft. Or Oracle ERP.
Yeah.
That's just what they're called.
Can you imagine? Zscaler DNS. I'm like, come on, guys, try a little bit harder.
Hey, no, it's got to be ZDNS then, because they put Z in front of everything.
I know.
For our third topic, we have a pair of stories from the hacking group Scattered Spider. If you remember, Scattered Spider were those kids who are really good at using social engineering to hack into companies like MGM Grand, Caesars Entertainment, Ubisoft, Samsung, and Rockstar Games. Now, law enforcement has caught up with a bunch of the kids and arrested them, yet they're still going on a hacking spree. It's a bit like Dread Pirate Roberts, where no one man is DPR, but it's a title that you temporarily hold until you pass it on the next person. Members are primarily English-speaking teenagers and young adults from the US and the UK. And Bleeping Computer just this week reported that a cyber attack against British retail giants Marks & Spencer took out all their e-commerce business and shut down their physical stores while the deal with the cyber attack was attributed to this Scattered Spider hacking group.
Did they pick their own name, or did CrowdStrike give them that name?
I don't know if it was CrowdStrike. They did not. It's not a self-proclaimed name. It's actually no. I think you're right. I think CrowdStrike does know them. They're known by like UNC and then a 4-digit number, and then the Microsoft has their own naming convention. But I believe you actually are correct. I think Scattered Spider is a CrowdStrike name for them.
Yeah, I always wondered.
So cool. They don't name. I just name myself. I don't have to name myself. I'm not Cloud God anymore. They call me something else.
Your Midnight Hurricane, Brian.
Yeah, I always wondered what they named, or what was the naming for like the U.S. based ones. You know, because like anything that's like Russian based is
what
like
China
a bear.
calls us. Yeah, that's so Russia's the bear. I think China's the dragon.
No, they're the pandas.
Iran is pandas. Yeah, China's panda. I forgot what Iran is, but I wonder if America's like the cowboys or the burger eaters or something like that. Yeah, what do other countries call our NSA and our hacking groups? Or there's these non-affiliated ones like Scattered Spider.
So the Rockstar one, if I'm not mistaken, was like the leak of the newest Grand Theft Auto, right?
Correct, yeah. So there were some videos that were in progress for GTA 6, and they released that.
So let's talk about something really important here. So when GTA 6 comes out, I think in 2026, do you A, take the day off and sit there and wait 27 hours for it to download? Or do you B, take the day, or do you take 2 weeks off, go buy the game, bring it home, still wait for the updates, and just play for the next 2 weeks and have a good time? What do you do, Chris? Do you buy the game, or are you just going to download it?
I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. So what they've done, because that is a problem. Like, it used to be that you have to wait till midnight, then you could buy it, and then you take 15 hours to download, especially if you have slow internet. So what they do now for the last Call of Duty is you can pre-download the content. So you pre-download gigabytes and gigabytes of data. It's encrypted, and then they basically don't release the decryption key until midnight your time zone when it's supposed to be the release date. So you don't run into that problem. So you download the entire game, download all the 0-day patches, and then at the strike of midnight you can log in, assuming their servers don't crash.
So you are taking a couple weeks off, if I'm reading between the lines here?
I don't know about a couple weeks. The last game I took time off from work to play was StarCraft 2. And that was a little while ago. But I think Raja has a plan here. He's going to work backwards. So it releases May 2025. So around October-ish, he's going to get his wife pregnant so that when May comes around, he's on paternity leave and he can play all the games he wants.
I got 4 kids. I'm not trying to go for 5. But how much bandwidth do you have at your house?
I have gig internet.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, I have just the normal whatever, but in my apartment in Mexico, I have 600 megs, and that's just like the basic internet. Now the box is made in Wuhan, China. So there's that. But
so it infects your network in more ways than you think.
If I'm downloading anything, I'm definitely downloading it there, and then I'm going to try to bring it back. Now, do I have to pay any tariffs? I don't know. I guess we'll find out, but definitely doing it there.
So the
I
next
know
big
that's
question.
that's crazy, huh? Like Mexico base internet 600 meg. Like here,
Yeah, I
like
mean, it wasn't
your
even-
basic essentials package is like 50 meg, and you can't even like go on Zoom with 50 meg. Like it's ridiculous.
Correction, you can go on Zoom with like 1.2 megs per second. You can't do Teams or anything less than 300 megs. Let's be real.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
They're busy scraping off everything off your system and uploading it while you're on there.
To Bing. Yeah.
Yeah, the bing bong. All right, the next big question before we go back to our story: are we Xbox or are we PS5 or PS people? I don't know if it'll be a PS6 by then. I have no idea. Or they don't do Streambox it, right?
They have cloud gaming now, but you still have to pick the system. But instead of downloading the game, you stream the game.
Oh, okay. So what platform are you guys?
So I'm gonna disappoint you guys, but I'm on PlayStation
PC.
4 still. So, and
Okay.
I wanted to get the 5 just for college football, but I was trying to, I don't know, teach my kids some kind of lesson about financial responsibility or something, which I've been regretting ever since. Like, you know, so I'm still.
Here's
with
another
PlayStation
DJ Khaled line. Congratulations, you played yourself.
4. I did play myself.
Damn.
All
Okay.
right, well, good on you for holding the line there, though. That says, yeah, even though I'm super tempted, I'm holding the line. Got to teach the kids a lesson.
So what are you waiting for? You know, next big deal that comes in, graduation.
PS6.
Probably PS6. I don't know. I just don't want to be, you know, model hopping and, you know.
I mean,
I had to show them.
define model
once-
hopping, because back in the day that meant a different thing.
Yeah, but you know, because I never had PS3, so I had PS2, and then I went to PS4. So I think
Even
I'm-
guy.
He only buys the even number systems.
I'm going by the even number system rather than going, you know, system by system. So
Man up,
That's true.
PS8, buddy. That's the next upgrade.
yeah, there we go. That'll be good.
Just
Yeah,
you
I
can
actually-
base 64.
So I actually model hop. So I was PS3, Xbox One, and then now I'm on PS5.
You platform hop, you whore.
Okay, platform. Maybe that's better.
Okay.
Hey,
So
I do have the Spider-Man version though. That's pretty cool. It got the, you know, spider on top. It's really nice. So I like that a lot.
for dinner parties, you can show all your friends.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, look, it's the Spider-Man
Look what I
version.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me approval. Yeah.
It's an extra $29 when I bought this, I'll have you know.
It's only 5+ years old, but yeah, it's great, you know.
Does it sound like a giant 50-pound theremophone when you turn on? It's like you just hear the engine whirring, trying to keep clean.
Yeah, definitely.
Heats the house in the winter. Okay.
Yeah.
See, we actually have a little bit of extra time. I actually want to get Roger's take on one thing, completely changing the topic here.
Good. Go
But
for it.
since you brought it up earlier, you're a data protection specialist here at Zscaler, and without divulging any customer details or anything, I would say what is probably one of the more unusual or surprising engagements that you've done that either really shocked one of our customers or shocked you.
I mean, nothing is shocking to me anymore. I just, I mean, the thing is just how much DLP ends up kind of the back burner and the afterthought.
Yeah.
And how much organizations always think that it's just content inspection or, and it's like
Just looking for credit cards, looking for social security, looking for this.
Yeah, and it's like, and I always have to consistently remind them, like, you take any hacker course whatsoever, right? Like lesson 101 is like download Kali Linux, and the next lesson is always like, hey, now let's exfiltrate data via port 53. Do a DNS and exfiltrate data,
Like a DNS tunnel or DNS cat or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's those are the things that. It's always an education with every single customer. Like, you got to lock down your channels, especially when it comes to web channels. It may be difficult. It may be a culture change, but you can't let people go wild on TikTok and YouTube and Netflix because they can upload data. They can download data. And these are your corporate devices, right? So getting that message out is it's always a process, and it's always like every single customer is always like shocked by that, which is just it boggles my mind. But there are some good companies out there that do it, and they do it really well. But like I said, it does require that culture shift, and those conversations are hard to have.
Hey, you're the Joe Francis of DLP. Like, employees gone wild, buddy. This is what they're doing.
Every time we pop up the Shadow IT report, it's always that. There's always somebody.
Are you sure you want to allow this particular cloud service or this particular web app?
Yeah, every time we have an AI conversation, it's like, well, let's go check out how many AI apps are in use in your organization, and they're always like their mouth drops, and it's like always more than 50.
Like, I haven't even heard of 20 of these.
I have not even.
Well,
heard
how
of
soon until maybe you actually know this? I don't know, but like, so Zoom conversations get recorded, transcribed, and blah blah blah. How soon until like we start doing DLP on video content and audio content?
I think that's called
like real time censoring.
No, not real time censoring, but just like scanning a file repository and just deeming that to be, mission critical. Like we're, I don't know, executive QBR, something's going on in the background. There's sensitive information. How soon until we start doing that? Then let's maybe edit this part out of the segment.
But yeah, honestly, I don't know. Right now, our focus is AI, right?
Yeah.
Being able to help customers adopt Copilot, being able to help customers adopt, ChatGPT, getting them to understand those things, and then also leveraging as much AI as we possibly can. So that's the focus right now. But at some point, that's going to have to come in, right? Where AI starts to listen into a Zoom conversation and pulls out, certain data or whatever, and helps you to do that. So there are ways of doing it. Just, we haven't done it ourselves currently. So
I wonder if we ever get, so what I referenced before, like real time censoring, that if we're ever going to get like on a time delay, because when we're talking, it's near real time, maybe 1 or 2 second delay, but just like the broadcast TV channel, like the Super Bowl, they said there's a 15-second delay in case there's something inappropriate that comes up, like another wardrobe malfunction. Like, is Zoom going to get there where we have like an API and it plugs into DLP? And if I accidentally say like my credit card number out loud, or accidentally say the code word for one of our internal projects and I'm not supposed to, will it in real time like mute me or censor me or something? Like, I wonder if there's a market for that.
That would be cool, but when it comes to Teams and Zoom and anything that requires, like minimal, and customers get very, very touchy when you start talking about latency.
Low latency.
And about,
yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, from a security perspective, I would love it, but yeah, networking teams would definitely not go for it. I don't know how much users would go for it either, but yeah, it's one of those things that's a very touchy subject. Like even doing DLP in general, just for Teams chat or doing, for Slack chat, it's a very touchy subject because you have to SSL inspect it, and then you have to bypass the UDP traffic. So it just,
it's all RTC stuff.
Yeah. A lot of customers get finicky.
What is some of so we can do like the whole data protection assessment, and then we can do prompt logging. And I convinced one of our, like a bank customer to do it. And the first prompt that was ever logged, and then since then he's shared with me some other funnier ones as he's going through it. But the first one that was ever logged is like, how do I tell my coworker that they stink? Which I thought it was hilarious. And then the other one was like, what would happen if Dracula drank the blood of somebody who was just like absolutely hammered, like he's just flying around, he sees a drunk person over there, decides to bite him, would he get drunk? I was just like the most random things.
Is that a whole like 100 men versus one bear or one gorilla?
So I actually have a theory on that. It's probably gonna be a LinkedIn post, but like, what if one of the men is Chuck Norris? Like, then all bets are off, right?
Game over. Yeah,
and it was 100 men versus gorilla. And then the last one, I think that. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I love dodgeball. By the way.
We all
have you guys
dodgeball.
ever seen?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris is in that movie, and it's awesome. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
The last one that he sent me was the guy's like, sometimes I almost feel like he's just making it up. He goes, if I eat a whole pizza alone but standing up, does it count as a snack? People are crazy, man. Like, I feel like
That's hilarious.
yeah, like
It's
crowdsourcing.
like just stream of consciousness, right?
Yeah. And like, yeah, I can only imagine. Like, if we should do that, enable it here at work and just see what we find. I bet you we'd find some weirdos, what we think we would find.
Probably.
Aren't we still blocking ChatGPT, or are we isolating?
Yeah, it goes into isolation right away.
So I have one last question for Raja, and then we'll move on to topic 4 if we have time. Friend of mine works at a very, very large company, and they do pretty strict DLP controls in their teams. And one of the things that they do is you're not allowed to say certain derogatory terms. Like, they have a DLP dictionary for that, and they just block it. So one time, my friend said, when we visit Las Vegas, we should go to this restaurant called Egg Slut. And that's the name of the restaurant. But it says, you're not allowed to post this because this contains a derogatory term in it. And like, well, all right, well, we got to find the balance. I'm not calling you that. That's just literally the name of the restaurant. Like, where do we find the balance there?
Yeah, I mean, that's where, proximity comes into play, thresholding, with predefined classifiers, things like, confidence, but there's always going to be a balance between acceptance of risk and, mitigating. So, I mean, if they really don't want the word, slut to be out there, then they're going to set the threshold at greater than 0, and they're going to have to deal with a couple false positives here and there, right? And some users not being happy with it. If they set the threshold a little bit higher, then they're allowing for a little bit, of that acceptance of risk. So it all comes down to where customers are comfortable with that balance. And especially when it comes to social security numbers, credit cards, usually customers will have like a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, where, they have certain acceptances of risk built in. So that's part of DLP. And that's why, DLP is not infallible. And that's why it's so important to really try to leverage cloud app control and firewall controls and all those controls to try to get to ideal state before you even do content inspection, which is sanctioned users going to sanctioned applications via sanctioned channels. You want to try to get to there as much as you possibly can, because again, I mean, once you start doing content inspection, there's always going to be something that gets passed or something that, is going to get blocked that shouldn't have gotten blocked, and you're going to get some noise.
Preach, brother.
I think
preach.
This is where AI, I think, will help, because if you can learn from it, and AI should know context. That's just, if I want to go to this restaurant and this restaurant contains a derogatory term, well, that's probably okay, because that's the name of the restaurant. Or the AI can even look at them and say, yes, there is a restaurant called this in Las Vegas, allow it through. Versus if I start sending, multiple derogatory messages to my coworker, this is clearly cyberbullying because I've taken everything into context. Therefore, I'm going to start blocking it and reporting it. Like, I mean, hopefully we'll get there one day, and we'll like learn context and learn the pattern of a conversation.
Yeah, hopefully one day. I mean, and right now, like in the industry, there's different ways, different vendors are trying to do it. One is like trainable classifiers, where we're taking like the customer's data itself and trying to learn off of that. There have been some issues with that, because obviously customers don't have enough data to really make a model efficient. You have to throw a ton of data at the model to really get it to where you want it to get it to. And then there's, people like us who take, stuff from all over the internet, millions of data points, trying to get, that efficiency, which we do have, but it's on a generic level. It's not on a, customer specific level. So there's trade-offs on either way, but, hopefully that'll continue to improve as we improve, obviously, with, improve our models and improve our understanding of how to caress it to make it tell us what we want it to tell us. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a joke somewhere in here with the shortage of eggs and egg sluts, but I feel like it kind of makes sense though. Like I looked it up, right? So egg sluts, there's something, actually this makes no sense at all. So I guarantee you there is no egg slut in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, right? Like I think the people there are like, whoa, that's a little much. Where it makes perfect sense is Nevada and California, right? They're a little bit more open to these thinking. What makes zero sense is there are some in international space, and this has to be where ChatGPT is just falling on its face, but it is saying that there is an egg slut in Kuwait. I don't believe that at all.
I don't believe that for a second.
According to Wikipedia.
You gotta look that one up. Sounds like fake news, but who knows? Might be proven wrong.
Somebody is messing with the interwebs.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just another term for a chicken coop.
Maybe. Cultural thing. Yeah. Yeah. My last point on this, I would say, is just to your point, Raja, if you put good data in, you'll get good data out. Garbage in, garbage out. Like that's what we always say. If you train your models on good data, you're going to get good outputs. But if you take all this garbage in, or you try to do a one size fits all situation, then you're bound to get some mistakes and false positives there.
Yeah, I'm still working to get it to like give me some good March Madness data, but I haven't been successful at all.
Gonna enter into Warren Buffett's perfect bracket competition.
I'm trying, but it's never got it above 80.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy. Those people at OpenAI, they don't want to break sports betting, so they intentionally make wrong predictions.
Ooh, conspiracy theories! I like it.
We're almost at time, so I'm going to skip.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip topic 4 and go straight to our dad joke. So we continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week.
This week, our guest Raja is up.
Okay, so I have a riddle and a joke, and both came from. Okay, so there's 2 fathers and 2 sons. Each takes a fruit. How many fruit did they take?
2 fruits.
The obvious answer is 4. Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this. Okay, I think I might know the answer to it. Is it 3?
3, correct. Yeah, because there's 2 fathers, 2 sons. So there's a grandfather, a father, and a son. So there's 2 fathers and 2 sons. That's why there's 3.
4. Damn it.
No, there's 3.
This is why data protection is a mofo.
Explain the joke.
Can you draw it on a whiteboard, please? Okay, you win.
All right. So here's the dad joke. So you know how your kids always come in and they're like, just don't care what you're doing. You're completely like sleeping. You're taking a nap. They don't care. They want to tell you about their day. They want to tell you about their grades and all that stuff, right? So my response to my kids is, I'm so good at sleeping that I could do it with my eyes closed. And that's the dad joke for this week.
Wah, wah, wah. Nice one.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, to wrap things up, scammers are taking over colleges. Microsoft is killing the password. Scattered Spider is posing to be a challenge to disband. And data protection is a journey, not a destination. That's all I have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Find us on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank our listeners and subscribers. Rate us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast in your favorite podcast listening app. By co-host Brian Deach and our guest Raja Khalid, DJ Khaled. I'm Chris. Thanks for listening. See you all next week, and as always, have a nice day.
Bye, Felicia.
Have a nice day.